What is the history of rectangles in geometry? Imagine a shape so simple yet so fundamental that it has been part of human life for thousands of years. That shape is the rectangle. Its story begins long ago, in the early days of civilization. Ancient people needed ways to measure land, build structures, and solve everyday problems involving shapes and areas. They noticed that rectangles, with therefore right angles and opposite sides that are equal, made calculations easier. The word rectangle comes from the Latin word rectus, meaning right or straight, combined with the old French word angle. This name highlights the shape's most important feature, its right angles. The term appeared in English around the 16th century. Before that, people called it a long square because of its shape, especially when the sides were unequal. Ancient civilizations like the Babylonians and Egyptians were familiar with rectangles. They used these shapes in practical ways, such as measuring land after the flooding of the Nile River or designing buildings. Around 1600 BC, Babylonian clay tablets show calculations of areas for rectangles, showing they understood how to find the size of these shapes. The Egyptians used rectangles in their architecture and land surveys, which helped them organize their vast landholdings. The Greeks, especially Euclid, made rectangles a key part of their study of geometry. Euclid's book called Elements, written around 300 BC, included definitions and properties of rectangles. He described them as parallelograms with right angles. Greek mathematicians proved many facts about rectangles, like how opposite sides are equal and parallel. They also explored the relationship between rectangles and right triangles, which led to the famous Pythagorean theorem. Throughout history, rectangles have stayed important because they are simple and useful. They form the basis for understanding many other shapes and are central in coordinate geometry. In the 17th century, René Descartes introduced the rectangular coordinate system, which uses perpendicular axes to locate points on a plane. This system is based on the right angle property of rectangles. In summary, the story of rectangles in geometry stretches from ancient practical uses to formal mathematical definitions. They helped early civilizations measure land and build structures, and later, Greek mathematicians proved their properties. Today, rectangles are everywhere, from architecture to computer screens, helping us understand the world of two-dimensional shapes and properties.